Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Slay to Success talk show. My name is Rochelle Slay or Slay Queen Hemingway, and I am your host for tonight. I am also the CEO and founder of Slay to Success, where I am helping professional women to achieve success in their organizations or in their personal lives, transitioning from a career or going into the workspace so they can bring their most authentic personal brand so that they can elevate their impact. Yes. So, as you all know, we are here to slay it. Slay is a full word, a slogan, if you will. Slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym. SLAY stands for Stay Ready to Be Ready, Lead Out Loud, a sense of community, and you are built to last. So, as we all know, we are here. We are going to have an amazing, as I say, SLAYMAZING conversation tonight with one of my guests that I have been trying to get on our show, and tonight is the night. So, if you got some friends, loved ones, colleagues that you know that could benefit from having a very powerful and impactful conversation, please share. And as we are doing this, when you're listening in, you need to share and also subscribe. Subscribe to the Slay to Success YouTube channel. So, as you all know, I am an image consultant, a personal brand expert, self-published author of 3 books. That's right. This book here called Slay to Success. And as I was showing you, I have 2 other books here on Amazon that you can purchase about personal branding, because that is what I'm speaking to, y'all. I'm also a keynote speaker and a talk show host of not 1, but 2 shows. This show and the Rise and Slay morning show every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, as we know, we're here. The purpose of this talk show is to highlight women and men who are living life on their own terms and using the Slay philosophies to make a positive impact in the world. So, if you are here live with us, please put it into the comments for me. Let me know where you're streaming in from. Let me give you a shout out. So, because you didn't have to be anywhere else, right? You could be anywhere else, but you decided that you wanted to be here live on tonight's show. So go ahead and drop it into the comments, and we're just going to get started right away. So tonight, y'all, I have Mr. Retired Air Force Colonel, Michael B. Black. All right. He is the Vice President of the Defense, and he joined AFCEA International in July of 2022. He is a senior cyber information technology leader with more than 40 years. That's right, y'all. 4 decades of experience in communications, cyber operations, project program management, organizational development, and leadership disciplines. As you know, on this show, we talk about leadership, wellness, mindset, and personal branding. So he is the expert, and we're glad and happy that he is here. And as the Vice President of Defense, Mr. Black, aka Mike, he built a strong professional relationship with government, industry, academia partners to further position AFCEA International as a leader in the cyber defense, security, intelligence, and related information technology disciplines. He leads defense operations in support of planning and executing global large-scale technically focused trade shows, conferences, supporting Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, space operations, cyber, and Homeland Security. So I just want y'all to know, Mr. Black spent 26 years in the United States Air Force, Hood, and as a United States Air Force as well as a veteran, all right, having a special place in my heart. And he is holding various communications and leadership positions at many levels. And when he was still in the military, y'all, he was the commander of the White House Communications Agency. Okay, White House Communications Agency, leading a 1,200-person team of selectively manned military, Department of Defense civilian and contract personnel to provide no-fail telecommunication services for the president, the vice president, the named successors, the first lady, senior White House staff, national security staff, U.S. Secret Service, and the White House Military Office. Now, he is also a self-published author. All right, he's writing several leadership articles. He has a YouTube channel. He is a full package. All right. So again, as you are getting cozy into, the seat and listening in, I want you all to really give some listening, okay? Because I'm all ears and I've got my notepad and I'm going to be writing notes as he is going to be dropping these gems. So please give it up a warm welcome. Put your hands together for my guest tonight, Michael Black.
Greetings. Hello, Slay Queen. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah.
Honored to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
I am so excited about tonight. You don't even know. The first time that we met, and we were at Dr. X's event. So y'all, we meet. There's a meet up every other first Friday of every month with Dr. X, and he's been a guest on the show as well. And that's where me and Check the Mic, okay, because he has AKA Check the Mic. That's where we met. And when we got to talking, we just talked about, our experiences in the military, in the Air Force. And I was like, see him everywhere. And he's a superstar, y'all. Like, he knows people who knows people who knows people. So I'm excited for you to be here so we can have this full-on conversation.
Well, I'm equally excited. I like what you're doing. I love the Slay touch to what you do and the story behind that. And equally impressed when we first met. Love your enthusiasm and just love what you're doing. And we're, Air Force brethren and sister. So we have a lot of that in common.
Yeah.
You rose to the highest rank in the enlisted ranks, and that is a remarkable accomplishment. And I respect that and honor that, and just really wanted to get to know you and learn from you. I consider myself in the learn mode all the time. And so we can learn from lots of people.
Yeah. Well, tonight we're going to be learning. Okay. As we're sharing, we're going to be learning up in here. So thank you so much, Leslie, for being here tonight. She is one of our faithful listeners on the live show. So thank you so much. And I can't wait until we get right into it. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. We're going to get right into it. So Michael, just tell the people, all right, a little bit about yourself, kind of your journey in the military and, what led you to what you're doing right now.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm originally from Tuskegee, Alabama. That's where I was born. My dad was attending Tuskegee Institute, as it was called back then, now Tuskegee University. He was finishing up his senior year. My mom had already graduated from Alabama A&M, and I was born in 1963. And my dad graduated in 63 and got a direct commission into the Army as a medical service corps officer. Later became a signal officer. And so I really didn't spend a lot of time in Tuskegee. Dad went off and started doing his thing and his assignments. He served for 28 years. My parents are from a small town north of Mobile. My dad is from Beatrice, Alabama, which is very small. And my mom is from Vredenburg, Alabama, which is very, very small. So two small town folks that, went to school together, J.F. Shields high school sweethearts. And then, got married after both of them went to college. And like I said, my dad served for 28 years. So I lived all around. I lived in a lot of places. One of the things I'd like to highlight is the opportunity to live overseas. I lived in Ethiopia for 2.5 years, 1968 to 1970. I lived in what's now Eritrea, but it was one country back then. And those that know some history, Haile Selassie was the emperor of Ethiopia, and he was still alive. And I believe because of the agreement that we had, the basing rights that we had, he came to the base to get his health care. I think that was part of the basing rights. That's my summation, but I don't know that for a fact. But he spent a lot of time on the base. And so as I reflect now, as being a 5-year-old and seeing this man in khakis with medals up and down the side of his uniform, it was amazing, after you read about it and learn. And then, I reflect now on seeing this gentleman. So I went to I went to an Italian school. I wasn't old enough to go to school on base based on my birthday. Mom said, "You're going to school," and so she sent me to the Italian school off post, and had to speak Italian. We had a maid. Her name was Mabret, and Mabret means light. And Mabret was a light for our family. She was really part of the family. And she could speak 6 languages. Italian was one of them. And so sometimes we'd have conversations at the breakfast table. Me and Mabret, my mom would have no idea what we're talking about. We're speaking in Italian. But true statement, really an amazing experience. I have 2 sisters. They're both younger than me, 4 and 5 years younger than me. The youngest one was actually born in Ethiopia while we were over there.
Wow.
My other sister was born in Pennsylvania. They are both professionals. One works for the government, and the other one is a physical therapist. So being around the military was really what I did for 18 years. As a adolescent and growing up. We did have a stabilized tour towards the end of high school, my high school years, where my dad took a couple of assignments at the Pentagon. And so I was able to finish high school in Greenbelt, Maryland at Eleanor Roosevelt. It was a science and technology public school, took a test to go there. And then I was able to get an appointment to the Air Force Academy after graduating from Roosevelt. So that takes me to my, entry into the service in my commission, going to the Air Force Academy. And the one story I'd like to tell about the Air Force Academy is, you have to get an appointment to go there, a congressional appointment. Most of the appointments are congressional. But the application process back then, and I'm sure it is the same now, is very tough, competitive. But I will say that my mom, Rochelle Black, actually got the appointment to the academy. She did everything for me, filled out all my paperwork. I signed my name wherever I had to sign. I did write, contribute to my essay and that kind of thing. But my mom was a secretary, clerical. She could type 100+ words a minute with no error. We didn't have, computers then. And so she was typing things up. But mom was quite the professional. And so she put together a winning package that got me an appointment from Congressman Jack Edwards. My dad was a legal resident of Alabama, still in the service. And so we competed for the appointment through the 1st Congressional District in Alabama. And that's who I got my appointment from. So even though we lived in the Washington, D.C. area, I went through Alabama for my appointment. I actually got to see Congressman Jack Edwards after receiving the appointment. Me and my mom went down, to Congress, Capitol Hill, and I actually got to see him and meet him before I went off to the academy.
Wow.
That was quite a bit. I don't know if you want me to continue or if you have any.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like all ears. I love the history of how you got into the academy. So let's keep that rolling.
Well, the other thing I'd like to highlight about that process is that Eleanor Roosevelt, as I said, was basically a magnet school. It was a public school. So it was the first science and technology center in Prince George's County. And I lived in Temple Hills, Maryland, near Andrews Air Force Base, but people from all over the county went to that school. The one thing I'd like to say about Eleanor Roosevelt is that in my high school class, there were 8 of us that got appointments to service academies, which is almost unheard of. You talk to anybody that has gone to the academy over the years, and I think I've run across one other person that had 8 people from their high school. That's pretty much how unheard of it is. 4 people got appointments to Naval Academy, 2 went to West Point, 1 went to Coast Guard, and I went to Air Force. And 7 of us graduated. 1 decided to do something different and went to West Point. And so, an amazing bond of, brothers in arms. They happen to be all men that went. And so that was something I'd just like to highlight about Eleanor Roosevelt. Went off into the comm career field. We called it communication back then. Wide variety of things as I progressed along, working at Headquarters Space Command, being stationed in North Dakota at a base level communication squadron, Korea, getting into the intel business, San Antonio, worked as an IG for an IG team. And I think you had some time with the IG as well. Yeah. So you know what that's about. Yeah. I was an executive officer. Then I moved over to England to did some more overseas time myself. Again, supporting an intel mission with the aircraft nicknamed Rivet Joint, or RC-135. Then I went to a combatant command at CENTCOM in Florida. Only spent a year there. I ended up getting picked up for intermediate service school. And I chose to go to the Army Command and General Staff College. 1, because my dad was in the Army and I wanted to experience some things that he did. And then I thought it would be better for me to get get another service perspective on things. Not that it was wrong for me to go to the Air Force, but just and not that I knew everything about the Air Force. I just wanted to be more well-rounded, and it was a great decision. One of 64 Air Force students at that school. You immediately become the Air Force expert on everything, not just communications.
Right.
Because you're one of 64 and you're the only Air Force person in your staff group.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot about close air support, interdiction, and all things that we did, in the Air Force to support the joint warfighter. Went off to command after that, combat comm at Robbins. Dream job. Many folks in the comm career field would love to command a combat comm squadron. I was fortunate to do that. I'm sure we're going to talk about coaches, mentors, and sponsors later on. I can amplify on that when we get to that. That's how I got there. Was there for 9/11. So another, experience, chance to shine. Then I came to the Pentagon, worked on the air staff at the Pentagon. Then I went to command again at Langley Air Force Base, very large squadron, almost 500 people in the comm squadron back in 2004. I still have my speech memorized for what we did at Langley. We had 18 general officers on that base, 200 colonels, 250 chiefs that we were providing comm for, 10,000 plus folks on that base, telephones, computers, and all that kind of stuff. Being the comm guy that was responsible for all of that, not just me, my team. And I always tell people, nobody ever called me up and said, "Hey, Mike, thanks for the dial tone." I never got one of those calls, but let something be wrong. Let something be wrong, boy.
Right. They be on you.
Yes. Let's get Colonel Black down there. And I did get summoned 1 or 2 times for things, but an amazing team that, we knocked it out of the park there. Went initial operating capability with the F-22 at Langley under our watch there. So the newest weapon system went IOC under our watch there. And then I went off to War College, so a senior service school back here in the DC area. And then as I got promoted to colonel while I was there, so, made rank along the way, but got promoted to colonel while I was at War College. And my mentor / sponsor said, "I want you to apply for the deputy commander position at the White House Communications Agency." Wasn't on my radar. I mean, all along my career, I would have loved, as a captain, major, even lieutenant colonel, to be assigned there, but it just didn't work out. And little did I know that was the plan. And so I went there for 2 years as the deputy commander, serving President Bush. And then I moved up to be the commander in 2009, shortly after President Obama was inaugurated. Another amazing experience. The president has to be the president every single day. every single minute. He could be going to the Olympics in China. He could be getting shaved ice with his daughter somewhere in Hawaii, a Nobel Peace Prize, Iraq, Afghanistan, floods, tornadoes, fires, you name it, NATO, UN General Assembly, all of the above. President has to be the head of state, commander-in-chief, and chief executive wherever he's at. And our job was to make sure that he could execute that role anytime, anywhere. That's a long elevator speech. That was a long ride. I know we probably went twice up to the Sears Tower or the Empire State Building, but that was a long ride.
You know, I absolutely admire the journey because, you know, you are a person that, besides all the odds, right, that could hold us back from going into different roles, positions. You're talking about being raised in Alabama, which is all the way, you know, sometimes the mindset there is to hold you into that space, but you were able to get into some roles, serve our country, and now like doing so much more even after service. You know,
Yeah.
and you're working with, you know, I know, like if I worked in the White House, because I, you know, we've been to the White House several times, and you go for events and so forth and so on, and you get the tour and so forth. But actually working in there for the president, vice president, or the staff, and getting to know that world is absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
That's
it was amazing, Rochelle. I had to pinch myself every single day to you know, just recognize that that's where I was and that's what I was doing. And you know, it's amazing. And I was, you know, I was in the circle, if you will. Okay, the small group that traveled with the president wherever he went, and to be exposed to that and the discussion, those conversations, riding on Air Force One, riding on HMX-2, you know, it's 10 times better than TSA pre, I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, like I know that living. I've only got a chance to experience that one time in my career, but when I saw, oh, these are planes that actually exist. Except, you know, I was so used to having the Humvees in the middle
Right.
of the aircraft, you know, and sitting in those seats, like the, what do you call them?
The jump seats are the nets.
Net seats,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and, you know, and the air just blowing in,
Right.
and you're freezing the whole way through. So you over there in some nice luxury.
Yeah, I was, you know, it's my own little joke, and I think I'm the only one to say it. I had a seat on Air Force One. I hate flying coach now.
Oh, listen, okay. No. Okay, Enrique is here. Okay, so let me just recognize the folks that just came in. So Chevy is here. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. Enrique is here. And of course, he's dropping all kinds of things. Like, you took that story, you took us to the roof, all the way up to the Eiffel Tower, Sears Tower, and down. And then he loves the story, but he's saying the C-130 all the way. Now, I don't know what you're talking about, but that's not my kind of.
Well, I do know Enrique, and it's
Yeah.
good to see him, and I like what he's doing out there, and appreciate the support, Enrique and Chevy, and I think was it Leslie the first?
Leslie's here too.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, it was. Let me just back up real quick. One, you know, you talked about, you know, coming from Alabama and all that. I want to just share the story of my grandparents, Billy and Owita Black. They went to visit Tuskegee, you know, well before I was born, when they had their kids, and they saw the statue of lifting the veil of ignorance at Tuskegee Institute, and they decided that they wanted their kids to go there. And so there are 7 kids, you know, in my dad's family. So, you know, he's got 3 brothers and 3 sisters. 6 of them went to Tuskegee. And my grandparents graduated. My grandparents' plan was for the 3 oldest to make a way for the three oldest to go to Tuskegee, and the three oldest would be responsible for the three youngest. My dad was the oldest of the three youngest, so he was paired with the oldest of the three oldest, and that was Velma. We call her Aunt Velma, or T Velma for short. And so Velma was responsible for ensuring that Clinton, my dad, could finish up at Tuskegee, and so on, with the middle of the oldest paired with the middle of the youngest, and the youngest of the oldest paired with the youngest of the youngest. For my grandparents to have that foresight and that vision, and to make a way, knowing where they came from, very, very small town. I think if you were to look at Beatrice, Alabama today, I think the census is probably less than 200. It may be maybe even closer to 100. So a very small town. But for them to put that vision together, and I can only imagine, my grandfather was a farmer, raised crops, raised, pigs and cattle. My grandmother sold Avon. She was the Avon lady.
Yes.
And I remember doing Avon runs
Yes.
with my grandmother.
You got the same life.
Yes. So as I reflect back on just, their vision of, what they planned and what they executed, is truly amazing. And so, Velma, pretty senior person in the postal system in Atlanta when she finished up her career. Chris was a nurse. Dr. Billy Black was a PhD in chemistry, and ended up being the president of Albany State University in Georgia. My dad, retired colonel in the Army. Dr. Dan Black, PhD in botany, and taught at Fort Valley State. And then Dovey, the youngest, was a teacher. So you have six folks that went to Tuskegee, all graduated, all professionals, 2 PhDs, a colonel, and so on, teacher and postal system, a nurse. I mean, so I had a lot of success around me, growing up, and just seeing that, not, with my immediate family there, with my mom and dad, but then my aunts and uncles on both sides of the family. And then just being exposed to, different folks that were around my parents at different assignments. So, when you get to witness greatness and success, you want to achieve that too. And when you see it all the time, it doesn't make it any easier, but it makes it, desire. I mean, I desire to do that and be successful like that. And then I could go on, at the church that I went to, the number of African-American colonels that were at the church, St. Paul United Methodist in Oxon Hill, Maryland, including one former undersecretary of the Army and the acting secretary of the Army, John Shannon, Clarence Miller, who was one of the founders of the Army Rocks, a mentoring organization. I mean, I could go on. And so the point I'm making, Rochelle, is that being around that, I'm not saying you can't help, but it does help.
Yeah.
I
can imagine. What? Our audience is just saying pretty much what I'm thinking. And first, Leslie talks about legacy. That was the first thing that your grandparents were envisioning was, what is it that we can set them up for generational? And I know you've got your own family with, multiple degrees. I mean, I don't even know, you counted them out the other day on your post. How many degrees?
So there are, in my immediate family of my wife, my oldest daughter, my son, and my youngest daughter, so 5 of us, there are 13 degrees currently, 5 bachelor's degrees. So everybody has a bachelor's degree, and currently 8 master's degrees achieved amongst us. And my wife is at all but dissertation in her PhD, and my youngest daughter is already enrolled in the master's. So when they complete, they will be 15, and then there will be, I have to catch up to my wife and my, my, so there'll be more school.
Yeah. But I actually, when you sit back and you realize where your family is and where they came from, and it's the same way. We came from, nothing. Literally, my parents did the same as you, as born in tobacco fields, and that was all they're living. My dad had to get his GED before he went into the military, and then when he went in the military, he was very successful in that. And so when I saw him in that, I was like, you know what? Here's an option. Let me just go and see if I could be successful too, right? And then, as you were talking, my husband's got his doctorate degree, and he's trying to pull me in. He's like, hey, like, what are we doing? I'm like,
Right.
I just finished my master's degree. I just, but because his family, again, is that trying to change the way that we see
Right.
education to being, because it is a foot in the door. All right.
Oh yeah.
It's always a foot in the door. And Enrique is saying, you can't change where you're born into, but you can change where you let your life go to. And he's saying, great job, Grandpa and Grandma Black. And Owita, my grandmother was named Owita as well. So that's
wow.
Wow,
man, we have so much in common, Rochelle.
I know. That's what I said. I was like, oh my gosh.
We were destined to be there. And I have to say, I put on the pink shirt for you.
Yes, you did.
Y'all, because I know that's your color. I know that's your color. And
he came through, y'all. He was like, I got my pink shirt on. I was like, of course you do.
So we have a lot in common.
And then, of course, Chevy says yes to education. And Leslie saying, I love it. And I do agree. Once we see it for ourselves, you said it could be difficult, but it's achievable.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, as you're talking through that, the theme that I kind of heard, that without really even saying it was leadership, like just the philosophy of leadership. So when you hear leadership, because it's one of your on your bio, you talk about leadership principles and so forth. Like, what is your take on that?
Yeah. So I'm passionate about leadership. And when I went to the Army Command and General Staff College, we took a course on developing a command philosophy. And so I took that serious because I found out that I was going to go into command while I was there. And so I said, let me develop, my leadership philosophy here that that I have. And my philosophy is founded on the 5 F's. It's family, fitness, flying, fair, and fun. So I made it easy to remember. And how 5 F's, you have 5 fingers. Fingers start with the letter F, and so it's easy to remember. So family, and I know this is part of your philosophy as well within SLAY, but your immediate family, your extended family. So you're going to be with your family for the rest of your life, and so you don't want to be the only one at your retirement ceremony because you neglected your family. So take care of your family. And the thing that I said was, when I was in command and people were permanent change of station, PCS to my location, and they had their house hunting days and they weren't able to find a place yet. I said, go find a place to live, find a place for schools for your kids, because you're not going to do yourself any good. You're not going to do us any good when you're thinking about, where am I going to live? Where are my kids going to go to school? Can I afford this place? Is this neighborhood good? All that kind of stuff. That's kind of the adage of, family. So take care of your family. Fitness. Fitness, we all had to do physical fitness in all branches of the service, but fitness is more than just physical fitness. It's spiritual and mental. And I always said, what do you do to nurture your spiritual and mental fitness? It's a personal choice, so I'm not going to tell you how to do that. But I will tell you if it's out of balance or if I think it's out of balance. And likewise, I'd like you to tell me if you think mine is out of balance, because I could be focused on something and have some blinders on and that kind of thing. And so what do you do to nurture your spiritual and mental fitness? I still do things today to nurture my spiritual mental fitness. In fact, I do a daily yoga class with a group called Christ Moves Now. We've been doing this for 4 years now, since COVID started. Every morning at 6:30, we get together and do a Christian-based yoga class with some fellowship, a devotional. I happen to have this book up here, The Purpose-Driven Life.
Oh yeah.
Warren, we read a chapter every day and give a summary, on that. Also, flying, the other F. Flying, when I first came in, the primary mission of the Air Force was to fly. And so I said, what is your role in supporting the primary mission of the Air Force? Of course, it's evolved to air and space and cyber and all. But when I first came in, we were focused on flying. And so I asked my team, what is your role as a combat communicator? What is your role as a member of the 1st Comm Squadron at Langley in supporting the primary mission of the Air Force? Fair. As a leader, you must be fair. There's an adage, it will affect good order and discipline if you're not fair, but it also will affect good order and discipline if you are perceived as not being fair. And so perceptions are reality. And so you've got to have some kind of sensing out there of what's going on. And so that's where I relied on my team, my battle buddies, my superintendent, my first sergeant, my flight commanders, the other leaders in the organization, joint organization, my command sergeant major, those kind of things. What's going on out there, and getting a sense of that, and so that you could be aware and be fair. It is so important for a leader to be fair. And then finally, fun. I wanted to incorporate fun into the activities, and again, that's a personal choice. Some people like to listen to music. Some people play music. I like sports. I like to be around sports. And so I like to go to live sporting events. I like to play sports. And so that's what I did for fun. I played a lot of racquetball, played on the base softball team at most bases I was at. Huge fan of the San Antonio Spurs. Yeah. Primarily because of their leadership philosophy and Coach Greg Popovich, who is also an Air Force Academy grad, and what he does for that organization is, first thing is character. You have to have character to be a member of the San Antonio Spurs. Everybody in the NBA can play basketball; they are professionals. But to play on the Spurs, you have to have character to play on the San Antonio Spurs, and that's something that I really like about that. And so I just said we have to have fun. What do you do to have fun? It's not all work and no play. You've got to put fun into your plan. Yeah,
I love that, and it's very simple to remember. And the fun for me, when I think about fun, it requires a lot of money. Okay, because I like to shop. So I'm just saying, it could get very expensive for me. Right. But it's true. When you create, and that's similar to the SLAY. When you create kind of this vision or kind of this a way for people can remember what it is that you value, right, and then bring it to them and see how they can use it for themselves. That in itself will take care of a lot of things that a leader has to do, because they understand what you are focused on. So LaShonda here is said, with education leading by example is inevitable. Awesome job. And I've got Kayron just came into the building. Thank you so much for viewing with us live. Amen. Appreciate you for sure. We got a full house here.
Nice. Appreciate the engagement from folks out there over the different platforms.
Yeah. So this is awesome. So, okay. So we talked a little bit about leadership, and I love the mindset that you have. Like for me, I always sense that it's positive, it's uplifting, and it's inspiring. Like, where did you get that? Because not everybody got it. I'm just gonna be honest. There's a lot of negativity going on out in this world. So where is the foundation, the basis of that for you?
Yeah, I think again goes back to my parents, my grandparents. They were very positive and thinking about positive things. Of course, my wife Wilda is a very positive person. She actually spent some time in the service as a nurse as well, and made sacrifices along the way as far as moving and uprooting her career and that kind of thing. But she's a very positive person. I think it just I don't want to sound like a cliche, but being happy and having a positive attitude. I go back to sports. I mean, I was confident and positive when I played sports. I wasn't a win at all costs, but we were not playing to lose. We were okay. I mean, so you get pumped up and motivated. I mean, I have sayings that I used when I was in command to get my folks motivated. Anybody that's been in my squadron knows when I say how y'all feel, they're going to respond back with a hey, I feel all right now. And they're going to say that with a little bit of Southern twang to it because I'm from there. So they're going to say, hey, I feel all right now, But I would be like, how y'all feel? And I'd say that 3 or 4 times. And, in that, the energy and being positive, I think it just helps. Now, the other thing is, I mean, I was fortunate to be in great units. And so when your unit is winning things and competing well, I mean, it's easy to be positive. I mean, I some of my fellow commanders that were at Langley are probably going to hate me for saying this, but we were the baddest squadron on the base. We won everything. 11th winner, undergraduate, distinguished graduate at every ALS class, the NCO Academy. We won base championship in softball 1 year, football 1 year, basketball, volleyball. I mean, we were big man on campus, and we got the Lance Saijan Award. I got stratifications. I mean, in my squadron, I had the #1 senior NCO in the wing. I had the #1 CGO. This is over the course of 2 years. At some point during that 2 years, I had the #1 field grade officer. I had the #2 first sergeant. And then I was fortunate to be stratified as the #1 squadron commander one time while I was there. So we were bad.
Yeah,
we were slaying it. We were slaying it.
You were slaying it. Okay,
we were slaying it.
And I'll tell you, you probably had a target on your back. I'm just saying right now. Other squadron commanders were looking at you like, really?
I know the song doesn't say haters in the building, but there were haters in the building.
The haters in the building. But you know what? You can't help to have, success when you have this positive and energized attitude. You're going in it with we're going to win. We're not playing to lose. We're playing to win. And, meeting the challenges and coming up to it. And even if you are not the sharpest of the sharpest, the perception is you are. Because of the way that you're carrying yourself, the way that the team is performing, so.
And let me just add one thing to that. I really want to foot stomp this. The senior NCOs that I had in all of my units, and particularly at Langley and at the White House, they were not going to let me or the organization fail. Mm-hmm. They were amazing. And, our units are primarily built up of NCOs. And I can't thank enough of the senior NCOs that had my back, that were, you could fire and forget and tell them, give them guidance, give them commander's intent, and they would go out and slay it. I mean, and, I have to highlight Chief Mick Johnson. He passed away a number of years ago, but he was my superintendent at Langley. Senior Master Sergeant Dwayne Hillard was my first sergeant. I had 2 senior leaders at the White House. They both happened to be Army. They were my command sergeant majors. They were joint, Gerald Williams and Willie Clemens. And then the rest of the team that followed. You have those kind of leaders on your team. I'm not saying you can't help but be good, but I mean, I'm just blessed. I was just blessed everywhere I've been. And I can tell you, at every my 13 assignments, I probably can call out the name of almost every single senior master or senior NCO. That's the superintendent, the chief, or the first sergeant at almost every place I've been, because they were instrumental in the success of that organization. And you put that team together. There's no I in team, so it's not me. It's our team that's doing it, giving a vision, getting that feedback. But I really want to foot stomp the role that the NCOs and the enlisted corps paid in my success and our unit's success throughout. And then, of course, we carry that over into the private sector. And I know you want to talk a little bit about business and that kind of thing. And so I'm ready for the next question.
Yeah, well, we definitely need to talk about this business. So, right, because I do have a lot of members that come back here who are looking to be entrepreneurs, pursuing entrepreneurship. And, one of the things that, I'm all about is personal branding, which is something else we're going to talk about. But because for you, like, your personal branding is on lock. So we'll talk about that first, right? So if anyone has seen any of his posts, you can go on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, wherever, right? The first 3 words of every post is current. Well, 2 words, right? 2 words. Current situation. All right. And I absolutely love that because it's like a warning order, right? Like, what is happening? You are on the go, like 24/7, networking, connecting, being in the rooms of places where I'm like, what is this event he's at? Like, I can't keep up. So let's first talk about, like, what are you doing now? Like, what are you moving in now?
So I am the Vice President for Defense for AFCEA, formerly known as the Armed Forces Communications Electronics Association, but we go by our acronym AFCEA, and it's pronounced AFCEA. We bring together government, industry, and academia to do information technology, cybersecurity, and that kind of thing. And you talked about, networking and relationships. And so same kind of thing that I did and built while I was in the military, relationships, mentors, coaches, sponsors. It applies in the private sector, both in the for-profit and not for-profit or nonprofit organizations that I've been associated with. But relationships matter. If there's a tiebreaker in qualifications of individuals, the person that has a relationship with the higher authority or with the organization is likely to be the chosen person because of that relationship. And so I think relationships are important. Goes back to that book that I put up, Purpose Driven Life. I think my purpose in life is I'm a connector. If I look at how my steps have been ordered, I believe that I am a connector. And that's why I've been put on this earth. I moved all around with my dad for 18 years, and then I moved all around myself, and I'm on the move now. And so I meet a lot of people. I think it's important to build these relationships. I can't say that I coined this phrase, but the example I give in the business world about contacts and relationships and contracts is the only difference between those 2 words, contacts and contracts, is the R in contracts. And for me, that R stands for relationships. So your contacts can get you contracts if you have the right relationship with your contacts. And you build those relationships over years, and you have to nurture those relationships. And it goes back to me thinking about my grandfather and his crops and nurturing the crops. And he had to know when to plant them. He had to know, when to till them with the mule. He had to know when to put water on them. He had to know, crop rotation. We learned that in school. And you plant these crops here, and then the next crop you plant here because it's going to feed off of, what that plant has developed. And so, but you have to nurture that relationship. I always say, I don't want to be introducing myself to somebody and say, hi, I'm Mike Black. Do you have $1 million?
Right.
That's not going to go over well.
Nope.
Okay. So you have to have built that relationship over the years. And you have to nurture that. And And I always, I tell my academy classmates, I'm in a chat group with about 15 African American classmates from the class of 1985 at the academy, and I always tell those folks that if you're in somebody's AOR, that you need to make sure to make time to try to see them while you're there. At least give a call, but preferably see them. And so when I go to Dallas, I'm going to see Danielle. I'm going to see Nicole. I'm going to see Chris Moreland. They're in my chat group. When they come here, now they're going to stop by and see me. When I go to Denver, I'm going to see Regina. We get together. If I go to Vegas, I'm going to see Ken. We get together for games. But you apply that in everything that you do, and you nurture these relationships. Now, social media and the platforms has helped with that, being able to connect with folks. I do go to a lot of places. And I do see people. I mean, I was at the graduation for my daughter at UVA, walking up the steps to leave, and this guy comes to me and says, "Hey, Colonel Black, I'm Jody Meadows." And Jody was in my unit at the White House. Okay, so, I mean, what's the odds of me seeing that person there? But I'm connected to Jody. Okay, so it's not the first time that we've talked. Okay, and so he recognized me, but that happens a lot. To me. I mean, it does, wherever I go, I know somebody. And I always tell folks that, for me, 1 degree of separation between me and anybody you want to meet. If I don't know them, I know somebody that knows them. And I challenge folks to challenge me on that. And usually they'll be like, no. And then in the middle of that conversation, somebody will come by and know them and know me. And I'll be like, I told you.
Yeah, told you. I can't keep up. All I do is wait again for current situation to come up, and I'm like, and the thought that you put into it is another thing, because your ability to communicate and to share who's there, what y'all are doing, the benefits of how that organization, how they are helping the community, what you're trying to do in that. It's all in the messaging, right?
Now you bring
and you have to take time. You have to take a lot of time to do that.
You know that because you do that and you do it well. But you have to do that. And I'll tell you, Rochelle, it resonated with me, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago. One of my troops came up to me and said, "Sir, you have good content." And he was talking about my posts.
Yeah.
And that, I'm like, whoa, he's reading it and not just, looking at the pictures and all that. He said, I have good content. And while I was conscious of my message and communicating, I will tell you that maybe it's just what I did, but I didn't call it content. I just, called it, getting a message out. But he made me think about what I put out there and content. And so now I try to make sure I have good content all the time because he called it content.
But that's what it is nowadays. That's what it's called, right?
Yes.
But you have all the things that make it very interesting enough to hold people's attention, because people's attention nowadays is an attention of an ant. And so sometimes, you get something, you're like, oh, okay, but when you have lots of pictures, which attracts the eye, and then you have all the, like, what is happening in that, what are people doing, when's the next event, how they can get in touch with the agency or the organization. And that's powerful when you can start to connect other people, because literally networking is about making sure other people are being recognized as you are building whatever you're building. And so
you make a great point, Rochelle. And this is not about me, but I will tell you today, when I go to some places, some people say, we got to take this picture so I can get in your current situation. Or I have somebody say, I haven't been in your current situation yet. Can I get in your current situation? Or when am I going to get in your current situation? And, again, it's not about me, but I'm just telling you that does happen to me sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's because you took something and you're very consistent with it, and that's what people associate you with, right? And I think that the personal branding, again, that's why I got so heavily you know, involved in researching more and more to it. And it does help. And Glenroy, who is also one of my guest audiences members that come here all the time, we were stationed together at Nellis
Okay.
when I was a first sergeant. So each one of us are influencers. Everything we post should be consider as branding. Be cognizant of this fact.
No,
So
that's an excellent point, and I know you talked about brand, and and you have an amazing brand. I mean, I absolutely love slay, dominate, kill it, nail it, being on point, and it's something that we work hard at creating. I
yes,
mean, it doesn't a brand doesn't happen. For most of us, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lot of time to create. You asked me about check the mic,
yes.
and I before I took command of the White House Communications Agency, I had lunch with a mentor of mine, Lieutenant General retired Albert Edmonds, African American 3-star senior communicator, used to be the director of DISA. So he takes me to lunch to Mike's American Grill,
Oh,
and we eat and talk, and he tells me all the things that I need to do to be successful. The last thing he says to me is check the mic, and I was like, yes, sir. And he said, no, check the mic. And he was talking about the microphone for the president, making sure that the
oh,
mic is on, MIC, making sure
uh-huh.
that the mic is on when it's supposed to be on and off when it's supposed to be off. And I was like, yes, sir, got it. And he said it, 4 times. The last time he said it with with another adjective in front of a mic, and he said it with some influence. And so that resonated with me. And so I thought about that my whole time. You see, I got a miniature podium behind me,
Yeah, I see it.
microphone up there. But I said, okay, Mike, my name is Mike. And so I said, okay, I'm going to check the mic. And I'm just going to spell it MIKE, a double entendre, right? MIC and MIKE. And then I have a vision board, and I have on the top of my vision board, I have check the mic. And the I in Mike is made with a microphone as opposed to the letter I. And so that's check the mic. I have that domain. I have that handle on Instagram and X. And I'm not sure. I think I may have it on YouTube, but I have that, in several places. And that's the way I spelled it. And I had to spell check a different way because check the mic, CK was already taken. And so I spelled it like the British spell check. It's got a money meaning, but I'm also an Omega, and we are known as Qs. And so check QUE, check the mic.
I'll tell you what. Oh, that mic can get you in trouble.
Yes.
Oh, that mic can get you in trouble. And
Yes.
if the president is saying something that he didn't or she didn't, because I'm putting that out there into the atmosphere as well, that they did not intend for your ears to hear. All right, that mic is not good. And I love the way that you turn that into another, it's a tool.
Yes.
It's a strategy. Check the mic. And it's a reminder to you, first of all, that that's what I'm supposed to be doing every single time.
Right.
But then people know you as the communications guy.
Oh, yeah.
So it's most fitting, So I absolutely love it. And Kayron is like, she really likes how you put that together too. I mean,
thank you, Kayron. I owe that to General Edmonds, and I saw him about 2 weeks ago. I see him pretty regular, but I always remind him of that, and we get a kick out of it because he knows that he put that adjective in front of it the last time, and he was serious.
Oh, yeah. You didn't want to get fired because I'm sure they'd fire you in a minute.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. So it's interesting. You have some things that really resonate with you over the course of your life, and that's one. Check the mic, and then I was able to, get that double or triple entendre, with check and Q and Mike and mic check and all of that kind of stuff. I had a lot of fun with that. Even when I sometimes go out to speak, I'll be like, check the mic, and some people know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, mic check, 1, 2, check the mic.
Oh yeah. I go to events and the mic's not working. I'm like, it's a wrap. Y'all
Oh
just,
man, that is a communicator's worst nightmare.
I know.
Is the podium, the microphone is not working. I don't ever want the president to say, is this thing on?
I know, right? Oh Lord. Oh goodness. Okay, so before we start wrapping up, because we could be on here for a minute.
Well, I'm having fun, and my time is your time, Rochelle.
Yeah, so. Well, I don't want to pull up all your time. It is Sunday, and try to get ready for the week and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So you wrote a book. Did you write a book or
write? I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book. My book is overdue, like a library book.
Well, hey, we got some people that are in the audience that are like Leslie George is the madame. We call her the madame because she will help you with a book all day. But yeah, what would the book be called?
I'm thinking. I don't know if it'd be the 5 F's. Check the mic. It'd be some kind of catchy. Title, current situation, I don't know, but it'll be something that revolves around, leadership and my brand. And then, it'll be, vignettes of, leadership. I tell everybody I was in a leadership laboratory for 30 years, if you count my 4 years at the Air Force Academy. So lots of opportunities to learn and experience leadership, good and bad. Mm-hmm. And so why not share that? I mean, I've shared it along the way. I have mentees that have the 5 F's or part of the 5 F's as their command philosophy. And incidentally, my mentees now are, surpassing me, in rank or the enlisted folks or chiefs now, that kind of thing. And that's kind of one of the best feelings is to see that your mentee succeed in things. In fact, I'm going to be promoting one of my mentees to chief this summer. She was my first shadow the commander at Langley Air Force Base, and it's she's Senior Master Sergeant Kristen Johnson, and she'll be Chief Kristen Johnson. But she was a senior airman back in the day working for me, and she was my first shadow the airman or shadow the commander program, my first airman that shadowed me. And we stayed in touch, over those years. And I knew that she was going to be a chief one day. And she stayed in and she did it. And here's the other interesting story. She is originally from Mexico, family is from Mexico, and she was not even a U.S. citizen when she first came in the service. I went to her citizenship ceremony. She invited me to that. And that's how tight and close we are. And so I'm honored to be a part of that. That will be my I did 26 retirement ceremonies, but that'll be another promotion ceremony. I did 26 retirement ceremonies since I retired. But I'm going to do a promotion ceremony for her in her hometown in Brownsville, Texas in July.
I love that. I love the fact that, because we could both say this after retirement, that we did not stop.
Right.
We continue to do service and provide, another perspective or another way for people to see things. And then we get to learn, all right? Because I've been in learning mode. You've been in a learning mode for quite some time because it is different. Military life and civilian sector life is way different. But in all honesty, you get to know and see and then to witness. I love witnessing the growth of individuals,
Man, that is so stimulating and so important when you see that. And it just brings joy, and happiness. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, the leaders of my current organization, AFCEA, Lieutenant General retired Susan Lawrence, Army retired 3-star, is the president and CEO, and then my immediate boss is Brigadier General retired Paul Fredenberg. They both provide the opportunity for me to continue to lead and soar based upon the team that we have, and all of that. And General Lawrence is a true inspiration. She came in the service as a stenographer, E1, and rose to 09.
Oh, wow.
Female, and just seeing what she's accomplished and how she continues to mentor and teach me and give me the opportunities in the position that I'm in now. And I feel like I won't say destined, but I was built for this position over the course of how my steps have been ordered. I'm the perfect fit. I believe I'm the perfect fit for what I'm doing now. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to do that. Keeps me around the military, but not exclusively, because we're expanding our footprint in more than just the military. But my skill set, I believe, was built for this, and she gave me this opportunity.
Oh, wow. I am absolutely thrilled that we had this conversation tonight, and for what you shared with us. And Glenroy, he's over here saying overdue is based on man-made deadlines, not God-appointed time of conclusion.
Thank you, Glenroy. Thank you. Thank you.
So you're off the handle, okay?
Yeah.
And then Leslie says that, the title Leadership Lab will be great. You can put the 5 F's in there and even check the mic. So
thank you, Leslie.
she produces Amazon bestsellers. I'll just let you know, everyone.
Well, so I definitely want to connect with the folks that are on here, and so I'll follow up with you on that. Yeah. And that's kind of what we talked about, expanding your networking and all of that, because these folks know folks that I don't know, and we can connect the dots. I know folks that they don't know. And I'm all about that. I mean, and not here to preach to you, but you do the right thing, you're going to be blessed, 10 times over. So there's no sense in keeping score. Hey, I gave you this, you gave me this, you owe me this. Let's just do what's right. And you turn around and somebody be patting you on the back or introducing you to something, or saying such and such told me to stop by, and you'll be wondering, well, how did that happen? Well, you nurtured the relationship, and or they knew the Slay Queen, and I know her, so now the introduction is going to be easy. They're going to answer the phone or accept the friend request, or because of your network and who you're with.
Yeah,
this has been amazing. I mean, this has been fun. I love what you're doing, and I'm honored to be on here. I'm glad that this, we made this happen.
Oh yeah, because somehow, some way, I mean, I don't know what needed to happen. I don't know if I needed to show up at your doorstep or what, but I was like,
what happened was God made us bumped into each other again twice. At the NCMA event. And for me, I'm just going to speak for myself. That was like a reminder. You were supposed to do something and you didn't do it. Oh, what? You still didn't do it. So I'm going to make you bump into her again.
Yep. And then when I was at a meeting, because we went to a networking event on this past Thursday, and he's talking about NCMA Metro MD, which is basically contract networking agency. And we went to an event, and he came, and so people that were around me, they didn't know that I knew you. And so when you checked in, oh yeah, I got you, and they're like, and I said, oh yeah, he's gonna be on my talk show on Sunday. They're like, you know him? I was like, yeah, I know him. You want to know him? Do you want me to introduce you to him? I felt like I was a big shot. I was like, I know the superstar.
No, you are a big shot. You are the Slay Queen. You are a big shot. And you continue to kill it, dominate, nail it, impress greatly, be on point, dream, and work hard until you own it.
Look, it's the motto of the day, y'all. And of course, that's what I say when we close out this show. So what is your last words to the audience before we step off for tonight?
another cliche that I can't take credit for, but I like to say, your net work is your net worth.
Mm-hmm.
And so, surround yourself with the right people. Don't be afraid to add folks to your network. Nurture that network. Over the years. Look for the synergy. Do not keep score. Do the right thing. And who was it? Bobby McFerrin. Don't worry. Be happy. Be happy.
Yeah, I love that one. I
Yeah.
think my most favorite one that you said is "Don't keep score." I
Yes.
absolutely love that one, and I will probably be writing that down here in a minute, because it's true. You can easily get caught up in, well, I did 2 things, so now you got to do 3 things for me, and
Right.
that's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely not.
yeah. So, y'all, you heard it here tonight. I had Michael Black, aka Check the Mic. All right. If you don't know him and you need to know him, and go to LinkedIn, okay, because he's there just as much as I am there, okay, and it's always current situation, okay, current situation, and you will be blessed, all right, with all the things that he's putting out there, and it's not junk. I don't, we don't do that. So please connect with him on all those platforms. He does have a YouTube channel. What's the YouTube channel?
Oh gosh, I will get that to you. It's I don't know if it's check the mic or something. I'll get that to you. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No worries. Give me that, because I'll just you have
Yeah, no,
people connected there.
I get that out. I'm developing that. I've got some things on there, but I want to make that part of the brand as well. And so I've got some things that are reposit on there, other interviews or things that I've done, and that's what I was asking you about beforehand. Is if the opportunity presents itself, I'd like to put this there as well, and say that I was with the slave queen. Okay, that's what this is about. Not no, I'm with the slay queen. Okay.
Oh Lord. Yeah. I am like flattered a little bit. I don't know. I just like the superstar is saying that he's with
Hey,
me.
look,
So
I'm the complete package. Look, I know you weren't expecting me to put pink on tonight.
I was not expecting
Okay,
that
and see
tonight.
there.
I was not. I'm like, you done stepped up. I don't know how many levels. All right. You are like at the top of the list now. So everybody else, you done went down a notch. All right. Because Michael came out here with a pink shirt on. I was not expecting that. All right, y'all. So again, I want to thank all my audience members for being here tonight. We had Leslie, Enrique, Chevy, let me see here, making sure LaShonda from the LinkedIn. So Enrique and LaShonda were both from LinkedIn that came in and shared some words. K Ron was in the building. We had Glenroy, and we had I want to make sure that I got everybody in. And then we had Karen. So thank you all for being here tonight on the live show. Please share it with your friends, your colleagues, and then go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. I got a whole bunch of other amazing guests that have been on the show, and you can literally binge watch for days. Okay. There's a lot of information. So thank you so much for being here, Michael. And we will see you very soon, because that's what we're doing.
That's
We'll
right.
run into each other again on the next networking thing or at Dr. X's event. And Jordan was here too.
Oh, that's my dad. That's
That's
my
your
daughter.
daughter.
Oh, hey Jay,
Oh.
what's up? Jay, that's the one that
Oh.
just graduated from UVA with her second master's, master in
Oh.
education.
Well, awesome. Congratulations, Jordan, to you. Keep on slaying until you can't slay no more, my queen. All right. I love that. I love it. I love it. I already commented on your dad's post. So go and see. I had a little hashtag slay there for you. She got a little fire.
Oh yeah.
All right. See y'all soon. Thank
All
you all
right.
for being here. And we'll see you next Sunday
All
at
right.
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our next guest.
All right. Thanks, Rochelle.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right.